Hello everyone, my name is Heather and today I'm talking about all of the books I read in the month of June. So I read 8 books, which I think I read in the month of May as well. I think 8 is just my standard because usually there's 4 weeks within a month and I average now about 2 a week, which is, I used to read 3 a week, but I've just let that dream swiftly come and go. It's gone. The 3 books, it's flown away. I don't know if it's ever going to return. I would like it to, but it's probably not for a while. So 2 books a week it is. So I'm going to share with you all the books I've read, starting with my least favorite, working up to my favorite. I have done reviews on a lot of these recently of the thrillers I read. I did a reading vlog where I read 3 of these, and yeah, there's like, I'm just going to kind of go over them briefly because I've talked about them a lot, I feel, this month already. So let's get into it. Up, my least favorite of the month, which I'm so sad about, is Love Letters to a Serial Killer by Tasha Cornell. I was so looking forward to this and it was just not it for me. This one's about a character named Hannah who, you guessed it, starts writing letters to a serial killer. She gets involved in this investigation and she writes him immediately to like loathe him, like, how dare you, how could you do this, you're evil, evil, evil. And he writes her back and they start a correspondence. Next thing you know, she's in love with him. And she goes to his trial to support him. He gets released and he's like, hey, marry me. And she's like, okay. And so she's thinking, hey, while I'm engaged to him, I'll figure out if he really is a serial killer or not. Like, it's bananas and it sounds fun, but nothing happened. It was so boring. The big plot twist wasn't really great. It was just, ugh. I don't like to bash books on my channel, so I'm going to quickly say it just wasn't it for me and give it a 2 and let's move on. Next up, we have Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the author that wrote Icebreaker that everyone loved last year. I really didn't. And I wasn't going to read more of her books. It was in a summer camp setting, so I was like, crap, I'm a sucker for that. So I decided to read it, and again, it was just okay. I think a lot of romance books are too freaking long, and I say that as a romance lover. Like, this is almost 400 pages. It's 380. Like, that's insane for a romance. What could happen? I say that, but another romance I read this year is also like almost 400 pages, but I loved it. So I think it all depends on the writer. I just don't think Hannah Grace is the author for me. I think she writes a lot of new adult, and I don't think I'm classified as that anymore. I'm about to be a 36-year-old lady, so I'm getting nice and ripe and old, you know. But this one was just okay. We follow 2 characters, Russ and Aurora, and basically they go to the same college. At the end of college, they go to this party and they hook up and they never see each other again. So you think. Many weeks later, they both arrive at the summer camp and they're both counselors, and they kind of go from there. It's just nothing, a lot happens. They both have very traumatic childhoods and relationships with their parents, I will say, which I did connect with a ton, especially Aurora. But it just, nothing really grabbed at me. I didn't love the romance. It was just kind of meh for me, and that's the exact same way I felt about Icebreaker. So I could see why a lot of people love it. I really, truly do. But I just don't think Hannah Grace is the author for me, and that is okay. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I didn't loathe it by any means, nor did I love it. It was just kind of right there in the middle, if you will. Speaking of right there in the middle, we have Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. Hopefully I said that right. I read this because the title Summer Romance. And what do I like reading in the summer? Summer romances, duh. I'm sorry. This is about a character named Allie who is, I want to say she's in her 40s, and she is getting divorced. She's a single mom to 3. She's a professional organizer. She lost her mom 2 years ago, and she just doesn't know what to do with her life. And oh my goodness, I felt for Allie so much. She would constantly talk to her mom in the car, like, what should I do, Mom? And I was like, this is so touching. And she's also, you know, getting out of a loveless marriage that she really feels like she has just been the sole provider for her kids, as far as, like, you know, being there for them, school pickups, cooking meals, cleaning, like, you know, doing 100% of it, where the husband does none, and no love has been reciprocated between both of them, really. And so it's about her kind of starting over and having a summer romance. She meets a guy named Ethan, and it kind of goes from there. This was okay. It was literally what the title said, summer romance. Was anything super memorable in it? No. Was it a good time, a beach read, like a cute, fun book? Yes, it did talk a lot about grief, which I really appreciated. I love the fact that I will remember in this book that she grew a lot of geraniums, which I love. I have a lot of geraniums myself, and she would often look at them and she would compare the geraniums colors to her lipstick, to her mom's lipstick, which I guess is red. That's the primary color of geraniums, but I do have pink though. But I just love that so much. Her mother loved geraniums, and so she planted a ton of them, and I just thought that was very touching as a flower lady now. But I liked it. It was cute. It was fun. It was exactly what I was looking for. A quick, fast summer romance. So 3 out of 5. The Night by Riley Sager, his newest thriller, was just kind of meh for me. I also gave it a 3 out of 5. It was his first time writing from a male perspective. We follow a character named Ethan, who 30 years prior was living in a cul-de-sac, New Jersey suburbia, and him and his best friend, who's also his neighbor, Billy, would camp out in their backyard every Friday. One night when they do that, Ethan wakes up the next day, Billy's gone, there's a huge gash in the tent, and nobody knows what happens. Now 30 years later, Ethan is obviously grown up in his 40s, and he's going back home to settle his parents' affairs because they moved, and he's just thinking, you know, I'm going to uncover what really happened to Billy. Some paranormal things are also happening. There's also this creepy institute where cults might happen behind the woods in their backyard, and it's, you know, that's kind of the overall vibe. It's very suburbia, and it was just okay. I found it to be boring, quite frankly, but nevertheless, I will still continue to read Riley Sager because most of his books I do really enjoy, but this one was just kind of meh for me, and that's how it goes sometimes. It truly does with authors. There's just not going to be every book they release you're going to love. Next up, with Painstakingly Sadness, I'm reporting that I only gave a novel love story 4 out of 5, Ashley Boston. I have loved her first 2 previous books. I was expecting to give this one a 5 out of 5, but for some reason that I can't quite pinpoint, this book just wasn't it for me. I don't know why. It's all about a character named Eileen who loves romance books. She actually has read this one romance series several times. It's set in this very small town, fictional town, right? And so one day Eileen is going up to her annual like book club retreat in this cabin in upstate New York, and nobody else can go in her book club, just her. But she's like, you know what? I'm going to do it because I really need to reset my life and things like that. And so she goes, but then she gets kind of stranded in this weird town that is fictional because she's actually in the fictional town of her favorite romance series. She sees the characters, she sees the relationships. She's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so that's what the kind of all the book is about. I would really say this is an ode to romance readers and their love of fictional towns and fictional characters. But I don't know. I don't know why. You know, I am a big proponent of reading certain books at a certain time in your life will just help you out a lot. I say that a lot with Emily Henry's Happy Place because there's a lot of people that don't love that book, but I do because I read it at the perfect time in my life. I read it last year. I'm in my mid-30s going through the same friendship struggles like Happy Place did. I think if I would have read that 5 years ago, I would have felt very, very different about it, if you get what I'm saying. So I don't know if it was the right book, the wrong time. It just, nothing really 100% connected with me, and that's how it goes. I didn't love the romance in it. I did like the fictional town, but nothing really grabbed me like her previous books. Again, could be me, could be the wrong time. I don't know. Nevertheless, it was beautifully written, so I gave it a 4. But I really wanted to love it. I just didn't. And there's really, truly no 100% explanation for it. So I know you're going to hate me, so we're going to move on. Next up, we have The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. This is a shocker because I gave this one a 4 out of 5. Lucy Foley's track record for me, I love the guest list, loathe her other 2 frefs, so I thought this was not going to be that great. I really enjoyed it. This is about the manor that's like this really big, nice resort opening in this very, very small, like English or Ireland town where the locals are very, very rooted in their history and the local culture. So they're very, very mad that this place is opening because they've blocked off the woods because locals usually go through there. They're like, no, you can't do that. And so this book is only 3 days. This book takes place in like 3 days, and you follow a slew of characters because that's Lucy Foley. You follow staff, you follow Francesca, who's the owner of the manor, you follow Bella, who has some history, and I can't really tell you much more, but I really liked it. There's a paranormal aspect to it as well. I really liked it. Was not expecting to like it as much as I did, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think this is a great summer thriller to pick up too, like perfect summer thriller. And my last 2 books, I did not read any 5 stars this month, sadly, but my last 2 books, I also gave a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed both romances. We're going to start with Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is like my 4th Elsie Silver this year. Can you tell I love her books? I will say I do think her books are too long. I think they're just long. I think a lot of romance books nowadays are way too long. Like I think 300, 350 is a good pace, not almost 450. That's a little bit insane. But either way, this is part of her new series called the Rose Hill series. And so we follow a character named Ford, who is actually the brother of our main character in her second book in the Chestnut Springs series, Willa, which I love that book. But this is a whole new town called Rose Hill, and Ford is like the world's, he got voted like the sexiest young billionaire or something like that. And he's moving to Rose Hill, a town where he really summered at, and it's a very small kind of western town. And he's going to open up his own record place, and so he has to renovate. And then comes in Rosie, who is his best friend's younger sister, who he's always pined for. She is kind of coming from a tumultuous breakup and losing her job, and she's like, hire me, I'll be your assistant, I'll help renovate this place, you know, we can get this up and going. And you know, you can guess where the plot's going. Ford also learns that he is a dad to a 12-year-old girl that he never knew about. So since that this series is going to be all single dads, so that I love that, which is going to be just fun. This was great. It was steamy. I love the kind of unrequited love Ford has always have. Rosie is very, very sassy, very much like Willa in the second book. Reckless, I forget the name of it. Heartless, that's what it is. But I really enjoyed it, and I will continue to read on this series because I'm guessing the next one's going to be actually about Rosie's brother, who is Ford's best friend. So I'm very excited for it. If you want a cute single dad steamy book, check this one out. And my last book, which I also gave a 4 out of 5 to, Bom Commerce by Catherine Center. I have loved a lot of her books. Some of them I haven't, but man, this one's so freaking cute. So this book is all about a character named Emma, who is an aspiring screenwriter, but she doesn't really do much with that. She lives with her dad, and she has to take care of her dad because he had a rock climbing incident years ago, and it's left him paralyzed on one side. He also has this, I forget what particular disease he has, but basically he has to be cared for at all times. So Emma has taken upon herself to quit all of her dreams, her writing dreams, her going to college, social life, love life, to take care of her dad. And then she gets an opportunity of a lifetime. Her ex-boyfriend, who is her agent now, is like, hey, I have a huge, I'm pretending this is a phone, so just go with me here. I have a huge you know what? I have a phone. I have a huge opportunity for you. I can't oh, why is it so funny? I'm clearly tired of it's only like the third week of summer of no school, and I'm freaking losing my mind, man. I'm losing my mind. If you're a parent, I get you. Special needs parent. Anyway, he calls her and he's like, hey, deal of a lifetime. There is this huge screenwriter named Charlie Yates who Emma has always looked up to, and he's like, hey, he wrote a rom-com and it is straight up horrible. He needs help. He needs a rewrite, and I'm asking you to go out to LA to help him rewrite the whole script. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so everybody, her whole family's like, go, you need to go, you need to do this. You've given up so much of your life to help others, so you need to do this. And so the whole book is about her meeting Charlie, like her idol of screenwriters, and them rewriting this romantic comedy together. Only Charlie does not believe in love. He's very like the cynic of love, and she's like, I'm gonna make this man love rom-coms, which, yes, because I love rom-coms. I will say it could have been a 5 out of 5 if some other things were happening in this book, as far as like more field trips for romances and stuff like that, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the chemistry between them was great. I also wanted more of the screenwriting process. They talked about it a lot, but you never really got to see it come to fruition, if you will. Like, never got to see them work in the nitty-gritty like they did in, where's the book? The Roughest Draft. This one they really got into the nitty-gritty of writing. This one they did not, so I wanted that. So that's why I didn't give it a full 5 out of 5, but I loved it. Another great beachy, cute summer read. Would recommend it. I have my thoughts and feelings on all the 8 books. That's right, 8. I'm clearly losing my mind. That I read this month in the month of June. I'm hoping July will be the same. I'm guessing if track record shows, I'll be reading 8 books again. So yay, I'm fine with that, truly. I would love to know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts are, and things like that. I'm gonna go try to salvage my brain back together because summer is, I know a lot of people love summer, I do too, but man, yeah, comment down below. I need to end this. Thanks for watching. Bye.